Worlds are colliding. Welcome to Ozzy's Comic Multiverse.
Wait, he doesn't want me to look at that though.
You gotta look at me. Yeah. Come on, you said I'm beautiful. Look at me.
You're handsome.
I am.
When you want to show,
shit, but you're an attractive person.
You're more attractive than me.
so check it out,
wish.
Oz.
No, you
when
are.
you want to show a page, point it to this one right here,
No,
on that corner of the corner of the tripod.
The one that's looking directly at me.
Right.
Yeah.
When you want to show that.
Yeah.
Right. But then otherwise
When
you
I'm
get to talk to
talking,
me.
look
You
at
look right at me.
That way he can make it like digestible.
Or look at
snack
heels so that
for
he'll
the
get
YouTube.
instant hiccups.
That's my friend, everybody.
Jesus Christ.
So here we are with Dark Knights of Steel,
Yeah.
and it's been a while.
It has.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Months.
Months.
Has it been months? Yeah. It's been months.
Was it like a writing hiatus or?
It was.
Yeah.
And it's I believe I mentioned it on the podcast. It's like, yeah, Warner Brothers was going through some major shakeups.
Yeah.
It's like if you haven't been following entertainment news lately, it's like the people who were in charge of Warner Brothers aren't in charge of Warner Brothers anymore.
Right.
So now you got James Gunn who's going to be taking over the reins. And yeah, this like Warner Brothers owns DC, not just the movies,
Everything.
all the way down.
Yeah.
It's a little different from like Marvel Studios versus Marvel Comics.
Right.
Still two separate entities.
Mm-hmm.
Not at DC. Yeah. So yeah, this was on hiatus for a little bit while like things were getting hammered out. But we are picking up, and trust me, it's been so long since I've been able to get back around to this book. I forgot what the fuck happened.
Okay.
So
Hopefully they gave you a recap, but I bet they didn't.
no, they didn't.
Okay.
It's fucking DC. They're like, who the fuck cares about our readers anymore? Here's a
Right.
great Superman.
That is what they said verbatim.
So this book starts with war, and apparently we got the three kingdoms: the kingdom of El, which I do remember, which was like Superman's family, and somehow like Batman's an L.
Yeah.
So those bastards happen. It's the whole DC meets Game of Thrones like universe.
Yeah.
And pretty much the kingdoms go to war, and then you realize is that Laura L, who is Superman's mom,
Yeah.
kills Hippolyta of Amazonia. That's the main thing that happens in this book.
Right.
It's like, what the hell would possess the queen to kill Queen Hippolyta of Amazonia?
Yeah.
And then you find out like it was a shapeshifter, and that's when Alfred, who's been in this book as a mentor to both Bruce as well as a servant of the L family, comes clean. Is like, yeah, this is a war that's happened before, but not on this planet. And that's when you find out in this book that Alfred is Martian Manhunter. Yeah, so it's like because
Oh man.
it's like I don't,
Damn it. It was so good.
I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. It's like, okay, so it's like, this is issue 9. How many more issues of this do I have to go through? Luckily, it's a 12-issue series. So it's like, I just don't know. It's like, as an Elseworlds book, I would expect something to be a little bit stronger. And it's like, this is like, what if we just did this instead of this, the comic? And it's like, what if we made the Joker a Green Lantern? Oh, that's cool. What if we made Batman like he was a half brother of Superman?
Okay.
And that's what I feel like. That's what they're fucking doing in the writers' room. It's like nothing fucking matters.
Right.
And it's like I'm looking forward to a DC book, but DC knows the book that I would like to do, and they're not going to give it to me anytime soon.
Right.
It's like, why take an openly, LGBTQ character and give him a book when we can like turn somebody else that and try to sell that book? It's like, give me more Constantine, please. You owe Cy Spurrier that. Anyway, it's like, give us a Constantine book. You want your fucking all inclusiveness? That's where you're gonna get it. It's like, stop doing this. This is weird. It doesn't make for good. It's just like, it's boring,
I got you.
It's like, we get it.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right, our next book of the evening is Gunslinger.
Gunslinger.
All right, this book
Slanging.
is long awaited. We are about 2 weeks late on it, So forgive me. The next issue will be coming out next week, so look forward to that and more Moon Knight for those who have been following.
Mm-hmm.
So now talking back to you, Gunslinger starts out with because it's been a little bit like they have vacations at the companies too, and we start out with a couple of criminals who pretty much murder some people. Now we don't know what the fuck happens, but all we know is that we have a speedster on our hands. As I say that term, speedster, you think what? Flash, you think in Marvel, Quicksilver, the Wizard.
What?
Yeah.
That's our word.
The Wizard.
The Wizard.
I think there's another one, Speed Demon, who was like in the Superior Six. Spider-Man villain too.
Right.
But I love you. The two villains in the beginning of this don't matter. They get murdered by this mysterious thing.
Okay.
The book picks up with Javier, our faithful gunslinger, going to Taylor and is like, "Look, I need you." And like the only thing he needs Taylor for is the simple fact that Taylor could fucking read and write. That is the whole reason why Taylor has been a part of this book. And you know what? I'm not bad at it.
I feel you.
It's like, you mean to tell me the only thing that's holding this dude back is the fact that he's illiterate? I think that's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
I feel like, especially today, in today's age, this is the type of hero some people need.
Some people.
Quite a few of them in the South Side, but
Lots of people, Virginia.
oh, I digress. Fuck me. This is live.
Yes.
Drunk. Leave me alone. The book pretty much culminates with Javier running into another villain. We haven't learned his name, but this is another guy who knew him back in the day.
Yeah.
And before that, pull a page from you. It's like he runs into a Native American man who he had some dealings with back before he got pulled through time to the modern times.
Okay.
However, this guy, he hadn't been pulled through the rift too. He came around the long way. So he's lived through the history and seen everything change. And he was waiting for Javier to pop back up. Well, this guy teaches him a few things. So when he confronts this next bad guy, he's ready for him. He's got some of the same tricks. Yeah. And keep in mind, people keep thinking that Javier is pretty weak for a spawn because he uses his necroplasm for his rounds that he puts into his guns. It also makes Javier incredibly resourceful. This guy has a whole army ahead of him. He kills like pretty much the entire army. He only manages to pull half together for a mountain of bodies that he's sitting on in this book. And it's a pretty badass shot because like you get some pretty amazing like splash pages in this. But the particular page I'm talking about is this badass motherfucker right here where he's sitting on half of the dude's men that he's gone through. And that's only because he couldn't scoop up the rest. So
dang.
Yeah, and they do this have you ever seen the fucking what was it, the Moses movie with Charleston Heston back in the day?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it was like there's that whole scene where like the Ramses like turned his staff into a serpent and Moses did the same fucking thing. How about they fucking replicate that in this fucking issue with the fucking serpents as weapons? So I thought that was pretty cute.
Neat.
Like, okay, that's an Easter egg if you're old like me. So, and anyway, you get this like random like speedster finally pop into the book, and we don't know his fucking name, which I kind of feel like is a dirty service.
Is that the Wizard?
We don't. Well, the Wizard's Marvel. So
okay.
This is just a speedster for the McFarlane universe. So
this is the Mick Wizard.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
got it.
I have no idea who the hell this guy is. He doesn't even say his fucking name. So.
What does it say? Something's mine?
Yeah, he was wanting to kill the guy that Gunslinger was after, but he was waiting to go up against someone like Gunslinger. So I guess we'll find out in the next issue. So look forward to that in the near future.
Okay.
And that brings me to my last book, which is actually two books.
Okay. The one fell on the floor, and Heels didn't want to help you.
I know, right?
Because he's got the hiccups. Yep.
Look at him. No blood
So
friends.
it's like reading. So reading these, it's a little confusing because they kind of match, don't they?
Yeah.
They run into each other really well.
Yeah.
Backs too, it's Wakanda forever shit. So.
Gotcha.
But so as I read both of these, and I think I read them out of order. But it seems that the Spider-Man book happens before the Venom book, or there's a book that happens somewhere else that I didn't read because this is an event. And if you notice, you see that dark web at the top there.
Yeah.
So that's the current event that's going on, and that is the event where Chasm, Ben Reilly, who is the clone of Peter Parker, Spider from the '90s. If you read the Clone Saga, don't groan. They met in Hell, and they were like, "Hey, let's team up and like get revenge on the people who like made our lives a living fuckfest."
Sweet.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is the Clone Saga where we got the meme from, where they're pointing at each other?
No, that's from the '60s.
Aha. Okay.
That's from the '60s, baby. Yeah, the Clone Saga. No one was making memes of that. Like it was that hated. Like it seemed so simple at first, and then like it drug on for like 2-3 years, longer than it needed to be. So, needless to say, we have been struck with a really cool costume for an alternate Spider-Man. However, a terrible story that no one wants to relive, and it's like punishment from the Marvel writers to like every once in a while, hey, remember the clone of Peter Parker? Remember clones were a thing? Yeah, well, here he is again. And they jab us with it, but this time they have some fun with the character.
Yeah.
And so last time we had saw Ben Reilly, he had sacrificed himself and was thrown into some goo, and then they kind of recount that in a weird way where it's like from his point of view, it's like, oh, they're fighting over this thing that could give Ben Reilly the same memories back so that Ben Reilly can feel like he's a whole real person again and not just a facsimile.
Yeah.
And then like from his perspective is like Peter Parker's like no, and then smashed the mystery MacGuffin and then threw fucking Ben Reilly into a shit full of radioactive goo that would like dissolve him and get rid of him. So that's Ben Reilly's memories. That's not what happened at all. Like,
Okay.
the Beyond Corporation, if you remember when I was reading that, they were fucking with his memories and giving him all this like bullshit memories. And he had a girlfriend who really cared about him, and that's the only reason why she is the new villain, Hallows Eve. And the Spider-Man book is pretty much straightforward. They're fighting against each other, and that's when Chasm reveals that, hey, yeah, I've got your buddies, and I've already sent them to Limbo. Because this series is going on, but it's also happening in the X-Men books, so you're not going to get the whole fucking story because I stopped reading the X-Men books because they suck.
Damn.
So you're only going to get Spider-Man's point of view, and you're going to fucking like it.
Take it.
So it's like, you got Hallows Eve doing her thing that I love, because I actually like this character. And it's like, if you don't remember, Hallows Eve has the ability to, like, whatever mask she puts on, she can attain the powers of that mask. And that's really fucking cool. So she gets on the Frankenstein. She's able to control the Venom symbiote that she uses as a weapon, as a distraction, so that she can get what she needs to get from the X-Mansion. And you only see snippets of that in this book. They go into full detail into that in the Venom book. Meanwhile, the main fight here is between Chasm and Spider-Man. And keep in mind, they're pretty much the same person. But he reveals to Spider-Man, is like, yeah, I've already sent... fucking who was it? Robbie and Jonah to Limbo.
Okay.
Right there.
Yeah.
So Peter Parker's like, you motherfucker. So it's like, of course, what is Peter Parker gonna do? He's gonna go to Limbo to try and save his friends. So he agrees to go there, and that gives Ben Reilly all he needs, because he needed some participation from Peter Parker in order to want to go there for him to get sent there and get him out of the way. So we don't know who's going to be like trying to handle Chasm on the upper side. But
Right.
I'm pretty sure the next Spider-Man book will be following what's going on in Limbo. And that's when you find out that when Peter Parker gets there, he is stuck in his own hell.
Well, all right then.
Turn the page, and boom. It's like a demented, tormented hell version of the Daily Bugle. And I'm actually really curious to see where this goes. Now, meanwhile, while this is going on in Amazing Spider-Man 16... in Venom 14, Dark Web tie-in, we find out what the fuck was going on with Venom and why was he being controlled. And so last we met, like, Eddie Brock was still torn, like, trying to figure out, it's like, if I'm every person who's in the garden at the end of time, if I'm Phineas, if I'm Venom, if I'm Meridius, At what point do I become Bedlam? Well, I guess we find out in this issue. And he is pulled when he tries to reach his way out of the garden. He is pulled into another dimension, and that's where he comes into contact with Madeline Pryor, the Goblin Queen, as well as Chasm Ben Riley. And they make a deal with him. It's like, you help us out, we'll try to help you out and help you protect your son Dylan, which is the whole reason why Eddie Brock is there in the first place.
All right.
So he allows them to do this, and they put a spell on him, and he reverts back to the Venom from like his first appearance as Venom.
Right.
When he first bonded to Eddie Brock. However, things aren't right. So he attacks the X Mansion, but he doesn't know why, and he like starts to catch on to this. And the person he's fighting against is a mutant called Sync. And while the X-Men are out fighting against like the demons that Madeline Pryor summoned all over the fucking New York landscape, and Madeline Pryor's like Goblin Queen abilities work like this: anything she can touch and interact with, anything inorganic, she can like have host a demon. So it can be something as fucking stupid as like a this panel is particularly funny. It's a scooter. No, it happens in this book. In the Spider-Man book, you see this happen, and it's pretty fucking funny because they're just using this guy, and he's the one that's screaming right here. But it's a demon that has possessed a scooter, like a razor scooter. So yeah, that happens. Anyway, it's weird, but it's kind of effective because you don't know what the fuck could be a demon.
Yeah.
It's like your mailbox can like eat your fucking arm off if she fucking wanted it to. It's fucking crazy. Anyway, so Sync is the mutant that there is at the helm guarding like the X Mansion, you know, while all this bullshit is going on. And Sync's abilities, he's been around for 500 years, and he has a psychokinetic ability. He can learn and understand any type of psychic power. Okay. So, like, if it's Emma Frost's abilities, he can, like, learn those, as well as the abilities of someone else if it's mentally linked. Well, this version of Eddie Brock, it's a throwback. He recognizes, it's like, wow, you look like a young version of Venom, like, not like the most recent one I've seen.
Yeah.
And it was like Venom is very into like the first appearance mode, but he starts to question it the further this book goes on.
I got you.
And you come to find out it's like, because this Venom keeps saying we, but keep in mind this is just Eddie Brock. He's the King in Black. There is no we. It's all him.
Yeah.
Every symbiote is linked to him.
Right.
And it bothers him because he realizes at a certain point, why do I keep saying we? We're alone. I'm alone. And while he's having this battle with Sync, it's starting to dawn on him that something's not right, something's wrong. Why am I even here?
Right.
And he loses his mind. And in the process of that, you know, that battle with Sync, and he runs off. This allowed Hollow's Eve to get into the X Mansion and steal what she was after, which was a backup Cerebro, which was able to house the memories of 10 mutants, and she was stealing this from Madeline Pryor. So I'm kind of curious to see where that goes. Meanwhile, Bedlam, you know, survives the fight with Sync, of course, and runs off. But in the process of like escaping Sync, you start to see him question everything in his reality and turn red and start to become Bedlam, and he can't remember why he's there. And that's when the final page ends with him confronting his son, Dylan. And that's how it all ties back into the Venom run. And it's like, I really love this Al Ewing run of Venom.
Right.
It's like, now, a while back, I was planning to do Defenders Beyond, which was a series done by Al Ewing. And it really covers Blue Marvel. And I wanted to give you guys like a crash course on who Blue Marvel is. And Al Ewing is also the writer for the Venom book that's currently going on. So look forward to that in the near future. We finally managed to get it all squared away. So look forward to that. Mm-hmm. And the Dark Web series, I'm kind of looking forward to how this event wraps up. Now, granted, I'm not reading X-Men, so I'm not going to get every issue, but I'll do my damnedest to explain what happens in between. So look forward to that next week.
Too easy.
And that is the comic.
Hooray, hurrah.